This week, I want to tell you a little story. Why on earth would I want to tell you a story? Well, in NLP, very often we use metaphors. And metaphors are just little stories with some kind of hidden or maybe not so hidden solutions, answers, hints, tips, tricks, that kind of thing. And they appeal to the unconscious mind, and they're usually done in a certain style of language that's very kind of, dreamy and helps you to drift off, and it helps you to imagine, helps you to daydream. And doing it that way helps the words get into the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is fantastic at making associations and links and thinking, well, that's not quite my situation, but I can see a parallel there with what I'm doing. Whereas the conscious mind will say, that's not me, but it's a nice story. So this week I'm going to tell you a little metaphor, because last night I was out in the fields and it was around about 6 p.m. So here in the UK at 6 p.m. it's still very, very light at the moment. It's absolutely gorgeous. And we've got very long grass. It's probably about, 30 centimetres, kind of like a foot or more in some areas. So I was walking through the grass. It was lovely and warm. It was a very warm night, and I was going to sort out the fencing for my horses. And so I was walking through, and I realised that all of a sudden a horsefly had bitten me. It was too late to do anything about it. It was already there. The bite was already there. And, these horseflies, they drive you mad, don't they? And so as I begin my story, as you sit there and you listen to the sound of my voice, you might even start to notice the natural rhythm of your own breath and how easy it is for your mind to drift into almost a different state of awareness. Because every day our minds process thousands upon thousands of moments, and some we notice and we really think about and we remember, and some just kind of land softly just outside of our immediate attention. And you already know how to listen, and you already know how to learn from the world around you without even having to try. And last night, as I had that horsefly bite, and I was thinking about the beauty of nature whilst the fly was biting me, I was thinking about the quiet wisdom of nature, because I was out in the fields on my own. There was just me and the horses and the grass, which was gently blowing in the breeze. And I was thinking about watching the horses, and it was so beautiful to hear them eat. They were just crunching the grass. And there's this deep instinctual presence within them, because they are so connected to their bodies, so aware of what's going on around them. And in that warm air and that tall grass, it's just perfect, isn't it, for horseflies. And horseflies are such a curious little thing. They can land so lightly, so softly, that only if you're truly observant, and for a human it's very often that you have to see it as it happens, because otherwise you don't even realise that it's there. And sometimes that way that they land is almost like something landing in our brains, just like those subtle, quiet shifts that happen maybe after an incident, maybe after a lesson or a clinic or even just a ride, and something happens. And the doubt in our mind, or the memory that it creates, or the emotion that comes with it, might be so fleeting. It just lands so gently in your mind that you don't notice it. It just sits there, and maybe it waits. And the thing is that as it waits, it may collect together with other memories, other issues, and it just makes those a little bigger. Maybe they start to get noticed now. Or maybe it just sits quietly until the next time that you do that same kind of ride. And like the horsefly, if you don't realise that it's there, if you let it linger, eventually those little horseflies, those nasty little buggers, they bite. And sometimes it's only after they've bitten and they've filled their bellies with our blood that you realise that there's a little tiny scratch-like feeling, and you think, oh, and you know what's happened. You know that something was there, and you know it was the horsefly, and you know they've bitten you. But horses, if you notice, they have a slightly different relationship with awareness. The very moment that a horsefly touches their skin, or even flies in their vicinity, they detect it instantly. And they don't analyse, they don't judge, they just respond. They swish their tail, they swipe their head around to knock it off, and they deal with it, that nasty little horsefly, right there, right then. And then, hopefully, they're free of that nuisance before it even had a chance to land for enough time for it to cause any problem. And horses can keep eating often whilst they're doing this, and they're just swishing away, or they position themselves so that their neighbour swishes their horses away. And they see that initial landing, they notice it, they feel it, and they deal with it. Sometimes we get caught up, don't we? Like last night when I got bitten, I was walking through the grass. I was thinking about the fencing, just a little semi-permanent electric fence that I was moving. And that was my focus. And, I didn't even notice the fly until I was bitten. And you know how those fly bites, particularly horse fly bites, really last? And you get a redness, don't you? And you get a swelling. And you get this itch that drives you crazy. And it keeps drawing your attention to it back over and over again. And any time that you kind of move over that piece of skin, you get that itch. And the annoyance is there. And the redness is there. And when a mindset bite gets inflamed, it can feel like that old frustration again, long after the fly is gone. And it's almost like it draws your attention now, and it demands your energy to scratch it. But scratching it doesn't really do anything, it just makes it a bit redder, and it's such a temporary little relief. It requires that you do it over and over. And I found that the best thing for horsefly bites is this great little tool, and I just got it off Amazon, and it's this electronic zapper, and you place it next to the skin and you click it, and it fires this tiny, precise current right into the bite. And it's quick and it's easy and it neutralizes that heat. It neutralizes that constant firing of the nerves, and that irritation stops. And I often think that we all have these tools, or something just like that, right inside us. A gentle click to do it. You know, it's just a kind of, and it's done. And it doesn't matter how long you've had that bite for, and it's been growing in your mind and it's getting inflamed, or how long you've been carrying that old irritation. You can choose to click that switch. You can choose it right now. You can really stop the after effects really quickly now. Because your mind knows how to heal, and your unconscious mind can clear that irritation now. It can leave the skin cool. So take a deep breath now. Allow that sense of really quick and easy relief to spread through your awareness. And whenever you're ready, you can return your attention fully to the room, knowing that you have tools at your fingertips, that you can get those tools quite easily now. And there's a certain freshness that brings. And if you need to know more, you can always send me a quick message or email. I hope you enjoyed my little story, my little metaphor, and that your mind quickly hopped onto the ways that you can help yourself. If you'd like to know more about NLP, I'm going to be doing a really exciting new NLP course, a brand new way to learn. And I'll tell you much more about it when I'm a little further along. Hopefully it's going to be completely ready by the end of July, and I'll be opening it up sometime at the start of August. But it's going to be really easy for people to hop on, even if you're on the other side of the world, even if you're very, very busy and you haven't got time to study. It's going to be great. It's going to be a super, super course. However, if you don't necessarily want to learn NLP, but you'd like to benefit from it, you know where I am. Just ping me an email, send me a message. I'm always here for you. Take care, and I'll see you again really, really soon.